Have you been trying to fix your posture for years with no success? And are you tired of watching these surface level YouTube videos telling you just need to do this 10-minute posture routine and that's it? Well, then you're in the right place. Welcome to video 2 of the 3 pillars of fixing posture. The first video is already out and we covered what? Postural awareness. Depending on how you got to this video, you should be able to find our first video on our YouTube channel. I do recommend you watch that video either before or after this one because all these concepts build on each other and really go together. Today, we're going to be talking about corrective postural exercises. Let me write that down. And all this means is doing specific stretches and activation exercises for aligning your body and fixing your posture. Many people think, well, I'm already going to the gym and I'm building muscle, so why do I need to do specific corrective posture exercises? Well, building muscle and fixing one's posture are two completely different things. And actually, the gym oftentimes only worsens one's posture, not correct it. I'll get into it a little bit later. Another common thing I hear is people are saying, well, I'm just gonna do some yoga and that will help my posture. It could, but it also could not. See, yoga is a great wellness tool and I like it myself, but oftentimes yoga is too general. So if you have specific postural dysfunctions like forward head, rounded shoulders, or the anterior pelvic tilt, these are the two most common postural dysfunctions, yoga may not address that for you. So it really depends on the type of yoga you do, the type of exercises that are performed there, and it doesn't take into account your specific body needs. So while it's great to do for your overall health, it's not specific enough to fix your posture. And some of you might say, well, I can just will myself to have a better posture. I'm gonna be more aware, postural awareness. I'm going to be more aware of it throughout the day. I'm going to be able to stand upright. But know this, if you've been building up bad postural habits over many, many years, it will be very difficult for you to just all of a sudden will yourself to go from this hunched position to an upright standing position. It's almost impossible because our muscles are like pulley systems. So if your chest muscles are too tight, your pec minor and pec major, which contribute to these rounded shoulders, and so if you're going to now, with your will and awareness, just be like, okay, I want to stand up straight. You might do it on the short term. You'll be able to kind of force yourself into that position, but then guess what? Gravity will take over and essentially you're going to reverse back into this position very quickly because your muscles simply don't have that length yet. So the only way you can reverse this position is by stretching out and releasing these overly tight muscles. With anterior pelvic tilt posture, where your butt sticks out and you have this excessive low back arch. Now you could say to yourself, okay, yes, I am going to pull my stomach in and stretch up and feel that my rib cage is closed. Yes, you should, but corrective posture exercises will help you to get into that position and maintain that position for longer periods of time. So you're going to actually train your nervous system to keep you in that better alignment, to keep your spine in that neutral position. And so with anterior pelvic tilt, for example, you're going to have to strengthen your core area and you're going to have to activate your glutes. Now let's break down the corrective exercises a little further. We have the overactive muscles. Overactive muscles and underactive. Overactive muscles means they're tight, they could be painful, they're the ones that you really need to release. And then underactive muscles, those are usually weak, they're not firing properly. So these are the two main categories of corrective exercises. So what do we need to do with the overactive ones? We need to release them, stretch them. We could also do some foam rolling or massage, self-massage stuff. Underactive muscles, we need to activate them. Activate, if I can write it. Activate, strengthen is what usually people think of. I don't even love the word strengthen, even though I've written it here. It's activate or wake up the muscles. Because these muscles should be doing their job, but they're sleeping right now. For example, think of your glutes, right? When you're walking, your glutes should be firing, but they're not firing properly, so now we need to activate them, wake them up. Sometimes when people use the word strength, they're thinking right away strength training, like the gym exercises. And so, yeah, going back to the gym, I really don't think it's the best route for most people if they want to fix their posture. If your goal is just to build muscle and to bulk up, that's great. But if you actually want to fix your posture, you're going to need to do different types of exercises. And when I say gym exercises, I mean doing the conventional equipment gym type of exercises where you're doing, the chest press and the lat pull downs. But here's the problem is that oftentimes at the gym, you are strengthening the muscles that cause poor posture. They're already overactive. So for example, your lat pull downs, okay? A lot of people use that machine. You are strengthening your lats. Your lats is a muscle that goes from your arm all the way down to your pelvis. So when it's tight, it pulls on your pelvis and it can cause anterior pelvic tilt. It will also contribute to rounded shoulders. So that's a muscle that we would usually want to release and stretch, not strengthen. Same with a chest press, you're strengthening your pecs. Pecs are oftentimes too tight on most individuals, so we want to release them, not strengthen them. Yeah, there's many other types of exercises like it that we don't actually recommend for you to strengthen those muscles if they're already too overactive and too tight. We want you to release them. Again, if your goal is to fix your posture. The other reason I don't recommend conventional gym exercises is many people use too much weight for their exercises. So when you use too much weight, like you're putting so many plates on that squat barbell, you're actually going to be now using other synergistic muscles that assist you to do that exercise because it's so much weight, you cannot handle it, and so other muscles start to fire and so it's kind of like you'll be doing a squat exercise, but your neck is going to get super tight, which again is going to cause that poor posture. So while you're supposed to work on your glutes and your legs, your upper body gets messed up, from example, the barbell exercise. So all these things and many more are why I don't recommend the gym exercises for most people. And if you're serious about improving your posture, you need to do corrective exercises that include releasing and stretching overactive muscles, activating, waking up underactive muscles. The best type of postural exercises to activate and wake up your current sleeping muscles are ones that don't require any weight or any equipment at all. Just body weight type of exercises are perfect for it. You are trying to trigger your neuromuscular control. So you want your nervous system to learn how to activate that muscle so that it can keep firing when you're walking, when you're standing, when you're running, when you're bending up and down. And so you don't need to haul a lot of weight in order to achieve that. The great thing about not using heavy weights is that you're not going to be triggering those assisting synergistic muscles that can cause poor posture. You're just going to be activating the right muscles. So it's a lot more targeted, it's a lot more specific to those postural muscles that will help you to align yourself in a good postural position. I also want to briefly talk about the two most common postural dysfunctions. I drew them out here. I know I'm not the best artist. This first one here is your forward head, rounded shoulders type of posture. Let me write it down actually. Forward head plus, I'm just gonna put RS, rounded shoulders. And then we've got the anterior pelvic tilt posture. That's your, the one where you have the hyperlordosis in the back. And your butt sticks out, your belly comes out, your ribs are flared out. So that's anterior pelvic tilt. And I just want to make something clear. We all have these two to a certain extent. It's just to what degree, right? Here, I have actually attempted to draw a neutral spinal position. You can see the natural S curve, and even on our neutral spinal position, we have a lordosis in the neck area. We have a kyphotic upper back, and we have lordosis in the low back. But you can see that the curves here are not as excessive as they are here for the dysfunctions. We may be never going to achieve this type of neutral spinal position perfection. However, we can decrease these curves, these excessive curves. So maybe in your photos you notice that your head kind of juts out forward, and by doing some releasing exercises and activation exercises, you might be able to get the neck back a little bit. And same thing here, it's not about eliminating the curve completely, but you can make it a little bit smaller. Let's talk about some of the muscles you will need to release as well as activate in these postural dysfunctions. Well, first of all, what is getting our shoulders forward like this? One of the things is our pec minor and our pec major muscles. Those are the chest muscles here. They could be pulling our shoulders like this into this rounded position. So we're gonna need to release the pecs, right? So I'm just gonna put it over here. And then if our head juts out forward, we've got this SCM muscle here that goes all the way behind the ear and into our collarbone. This is a muscle that attaches to the collarbone, so when it's tight, it tends to pull the neck forward, just like this. So we're gonna need to release that one as well, or self-massage it, as that also works really well for that one. Release, SCM. And then we've got levator scap muscle that also gets really tight, also contributes to this forward head posture. We're gonna also need to release it. And then one of the muscles we're gonna need to strengthen is our deep cervical flexor muscles right over here. And this is why we recommend doing things like chin tucks, because by doing this, you're activating these deep cervical muscles. So we're gonna activate, sorry for my writing. There's other muscles involved in fixing this dysfunction, but these are just some of the areas that you can start with. And then let's go to anterior pelvic tilt. Well, one of the muscles that get really tight, that gets us into this pelvic position, is tight hip flexors. So we're gonna need to release those. And by the way, when we say hip flexors, it's not only the psoas. Yes, psoas is the main one, but your quads and your adductor muscles also contribute to hip flexion. So oftentimes you will need to release those as well. The other areas that need activation would be the core and the glutes. So let me write those down. So we're gonna have to activate or strengthen our core and also activate glutes. Another muscle that's chronically tight on anterior pelvic tilt that contributes to both of these dysfunctions is the lats. So release. And I just want to clarify that these muscles that I mentioned here are not exclusive to each of these dysfunctions. For example, if you don't fix your tight hip flexors, you're probably not going to be able to fix your forward head posture. They can cause one another. For example, if you think about it, anterior pelvic tilt, okay? If I get into this anterior pelvic tilt, then look, my head starts jutting forward as well, okay? So that one posture causes the other, yes? So sometimes they can go together. That's why most people have both of those to some degree. And essentially, you're gonna need to work on your body holistically. No matter what, you're gonna need a stronger core even to fix this dysfunction. A core is a main stabilizer for the entire body, right? Glutes are super important for everyday activity, and this is why we created our posture app called Posture Flow. It's in the App Store right now. It has the best stretches and activation exercises to fix these postural dysfunctions and others. You'll get notifications on your phone to get up and work on your posture throughout the day. And we've got a 7-day free trial, so check it out. It's in the App Store right now. So that's it for today. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you learned from this video today. And stay tuned for our third video in this series of 3 pillars to fixing your posture. That's going to be coming out soon. It might be already out depending on when you're watching it. So be sure to check it out because all these 3 videos really go together. And if you haven't watched our first video, make sure to do so as well.